I'm your host here, Clay. This is my right-hand man, Adam. This is Koof Andy, and this is Big Tony Tone. Thank you for taking some time out of your day, coming in here on this Sunday, taking a little nice mental vacation. We hope your guys' weekend's going good. Adam, how was your weekend? Let's go.
It was pretty good. I got to watch the Louisville Bats, a.k.a. the Louisville Mashers, but they ended up losing. They lost to Columbus Clippers.
Okay.
So, little Ohio MLB minor league teams going at it.
Nice, nice. And you're a big Bats Mashers fan, right?
Yeah, that's my favorite special they do. They do a bunch of different stuff. I say there's a reason they're like one of the best in the minor leagues when it comes to like fan service and stuff like that, just because they come out with so many different stuff. Like they had the mint juleps, they have the mashers, and then they have a Muhammad Ali night, which I'm pretty sure they do like a Spanish theme. So I'm not real for sure what that one is. I didn't get a chance to go to that, unfortunately.
Oh, nice. Tony, how's your weekend going, man?
It's going pretty good so far. Checked a couple things off the old honeydew list. Got to see a Paints W yesterday. That was pretty nice.
Heck yeah.
Other than that, not too much for relaxing, but checking things off the list.
Me and Andy went out to a party last night that was supposed to have some bands and stuff like that. We were promised over 150 people, and they didn't have the 100 or the 50. So it was a little over two on that one. So had a good time, nice hanging out with some friends, everything like that. Guys, if you are enjoying these four idiots, as we like to call ourselves, please look us up on YouTube and Spotify. Like, subscribe, do whatever you got to do to get the word out and give us some support. We really appreciate that.
Follow us on Instagram and Twitter as well.
We're at the Ride the Wave Show on Instagram and then at Ride the Wave Show 2023 on Twitter because they want to be difficult. So starting off with some sports news, guys. 2-0 versus NAM. We beat them in the World Cup for the women.
USA!
Go.
USA! USA!
We beat Vietnam. I think it was 3-0 on Friday, so that gives them the U.S. women's national team their first win of the World Cup, which is not surprising because they are absolute animals, dude. They are an absolute weapon when it comes to women's soccer, dude. I mean, I feel like every single time that the World Cup's on, it's just like, all right, how bad are we going to win this year? You know what I mean? It's pretty good. And they keep losing stars, but just replacing them with new ones. It's kind of awesome to watch.
I think it's an attitude thing. Like, there's a lot of United States sports teams that sometimes underwhelm because of almost a lack of attitude.
Right.
But like they can replace these girls because they just come in and it's not necessarily even next man up. It's my time.
Yeah.
Like it's awesome.
And then they come back here and just absolutely dominate too. It's awesome. But their next game is against the Netherlands on Wednesday at 9 o'clock. I think that's going to be on Fox. Yeah, it's going to be on Fox. Fox is the ones that's sponsoring the World Cup this year, so we're looking to bring that back home. So speaking of some other local dogs, we're going to go into the Chillicothe football guys. They came off of a good year last year. Let me look it up here real quick. I think they finished 7-4. They were 3-2. And they started the season off the week 2. They beat London 27-24. Make it to the playoffs, end up losing to London, sadly. I don't think that one was as close, but, so sometimes, for new coach, they get into the playoffs. Yeah, it was
not as close.
Yeah, I think it was, 42-12?
It was 42-12 in the playoff, but when they won, it was 27-24.
I think they had a lot of injuries, though, going into the second half of the year. So, still making the playoffs, but with injuries, that's a big deal. And they got Coach Bart over there. He's actually a local legend all around. So it looked like he had a stint at Westfall, a stint at Oak Hill, and a stint at Logan Elm. And Logan Elm looked like he won a bunch of championships over there league-wise. But he actually left. This is kind of a cool story. He leaves and he goes to become the assistant coach at Bloom Carroll with his son. So his son's the head coach. And they actually go to back-to-back state titles. I want to say it was either the state title game or the state runner-up game or the state Final Four game. But that's kind of a cool experience, I thought. Not only to get to go to the Final Four in football, but to do it with your son. He's the head coach. You know, you've had your time. You've been coaching all these years. You get to watch him follow not only his dream, but a dream that you have, so you get to share it with him. And then he leaves that and comes over to chill a coffee. And like I said, they go to the playoffs this year. And they are actually 5-0 on the road, guys. That's something that I think speaks volumes about a team. Absolutely road warriors. Tony, tell me what you think about that 5-0 on the road.
Grit.
Right,
you know what
man.
I mean?
Like,
again, we talked about attitude with the USA team, but we'll go right back with that. You have to have a certain attitude. You cannot be affected what's around you. You know, it's 5 games. Maybe some of them are a little easier on the road than others, but it's like there's 2 or 3 that the crowd's going to affect the game, and they didn't let him. So it's got to say something.
And it looks like they had it pretty handily on the road. Sorry, Adam, I'm just going to steal this for you real quick. But, yeah, it looks like, they go – and they beat Taste Valley on the road 29-19. They're beating Waverly on the road 42-12. I mean, they're going on the road and putting the hammer down. You know what I mean?
If they do this again, they deserve keys to each one of these respective cities.
Exactly.
That goose egg Logan at Logan.
Yeah. What was that?
24-0.
See, a shutout at Logan. Like, to go into another school's field and be like, we're going to completely shut you down. Like, you're not scoring a single point.
That's the kicker's home field, too. Like, come on. Give the guy a 30-yarder somewhere.
He couldn't even get that off. You know what I mean? It's just insane. I feel like, especially in the SVC, now I know they're not the SVC, the FAC, but going in the SVC, man, I felt like going into an away game, like, when we went to Unioto, man, it was almost personal. You mean, it's like, yeah, we want Unioto to win, but we want you, Paint Valley, to lose more than we kind of want us to win. You go to Zane Trace, that's the way. Especially Paint Valley, Huntington, with the Maple Leaf on the line. Shout out Huntington, we've won it almost every single time. But just those, and like we talked about before, the Zane Trace Uniotas, the Adina Unioto. I mean, that's been a huge rivalry forever. So to go on the road and to shut a team out completely is a huge deal. I mean, I can't speak volumes to what that actually does.
It's hard enough to do it when you're home, let alone doing it on the road. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. And to not lose on the road too. You know what I mean? Like, it says something to go into a crowd. I know I'm just harping on this. It might sound like I'm saying the same thing, but that's an unreal stat to me to go 5-0 on the road. Like, that says more about your team, I think, than almost anything else, any other stat might.
And a lot about coaching.
Yes, a lot about coaching. That's having your team prepared. That's, the bus ride over there is not getting in our way. You know what I mean? You're getting your team locked,
make sure
focused
everyone's focused.
Yes.
We both know how hard that was.
Exactly. Being on a bus, especially if you're a bunch of degenerates, it's a lot harder to be on that bus and be quiet. But
and then also when you're in the game, to have the coaching ability to be able to keep your players level-headed, especially in close games. They didn't have a whole lot of close games. They were usually, if they were winning them, they were winning them pretty handily. But they went into OT at Miami Trace. It was 35-28 there. So you just know it's like to keep those kids from being all nerves, just a bucket of nerves.
Yeah,
you have to have a good leadership, good coach out there.
Yeah, and it looks like Jackson too. Jackson beats them 21-7, but from what my memory is, that game was a lot closer than that scoreboard says. And Jackson's a freaking wagon.
Jackson, dude.
Coming from a big guy.
I've been beat by Jackson so many times in high school. Like they just. I remember like freshman year they beat us like 56-6 on our home field. It was so awful. It hurt so bad.
And they're like the Wheelersburg of football, man. Like they just keep producing. Like I remember I met a kid that went out there. He was like a tight end. He was going to West Virginia as a tight end dude, and he was like 6'5". Like his wingspan was like me. You know what I mean? Like it was insane.
Well, Jackson, the cool thing about them is like in the little league, so like. I guess like Pee Wee football and stuff like that. I don't know if they still have it, but when I was growing up, we would always have Jackson Red and Jackson White on the team, so it was just two different. Jackson White was always the better team.
Yeah.
Jackson Red just kind of was. I don't want to say they were younger, but
kind of like they were.
Once they got to like middle school and stuff like that, they kind of collected. Vinton County did that for a little while just because we're such a big county.
Unioto did that for basketball when because I went there from 6th to 8th grade. They did that in 6th grade where there's just so many kids that want to play, and the problem I guess it was a good problem to have. They're all good. You know what I mean? So you don't want to cut them. So you're like, okay, we'll just make 2 teams. We had like a Bishop Flaget league and another league. It was like a local Chillicothe league that we all played in. Or we all played in the Chillicothe League, and then we split up, and some of us went to the Bishop Flaget League, and then there's a Fisher Catholic League. And so we split the 2 teams up like that, but then we'd all play together in the Chillicothe League. So, kind of like what you're saying with Jackson there, you all get some playing time, but then I'm sure Jackson Red and Jackson White probably played against each other.
So that's the thing. I don't really remember if they would have had to play each other outside of, like, the playoffs and stuff like that when we were going to it. But, like, it would have been from, like, 2nd grade to about 6th grade. And then, like I said, Vinton County there for a while. We had, like, I know we did it because we had a maroon team and then a gray team, and we ended up having a maroon-gray game at the end of the season.
Oh, nice.
And it was just kind of like, hey, go out there and have fun.
Yeah, the thing with Paint Valley was we were so big that we were glad that we had a team. You know what I mean? But it kind of says some volumes. I think I graduated with, 45 kids in my graduating class, and the football team had 53 kids. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, you're a small school, but we're still showing out for football. You know what I mean? Like, I think I'll give a shout out to Coach Holland on this one. I think his mentality was, I don't care if these kids don't really want to play or know how to play, but if we have a lot of numbers over here, that has to be kind of intimidating to the other team, you know? But going back to Chillicothe, they had a tough one against Courthouse, who they were an absolute wagon this year in football. I mean, going off of their baseball success too, it looks like. But they have a close game with them in Jackson, and we're not here for moral victories. I think we're all on the same. Not everybody gets a first place trophy, but on the other hand of that, when you're a program like Chillicothe, where I remember back in 2008, they made a playoff appearance, and then they didn't do a whole lot until Hinton came around there in about 2012, 2013. And then Pryor comes in. He wins a league title in 2020. But you have a new coach coming in at 2021, last year 2022. So he's still trying to set that culture. And a playoff appearance, playing Jackson close, playing a good Washington Courthouse close. I mean, they played McLean. They beat them 50-14. They got grit. I mean, like we said, they went on the road 5-0. They have a close Miami Trace game, 35-28 in overtime. So that's telling you that whenever the fourth quarter's coming, they're not giving up.
That conference is stacked.
It is.
Like you just win over every year. They're just beating the opponent.
I mean, it's a good conference. They got McLean, they got Miami Trace, they got Washington Courthouse, Hillsborough,
on the
Jackson.
Well, yeah, I don't know about any of these other teams. I just know like Jackson, they're in this conference because they're good. A lot of other conferences just didn't really want them, or it just wasn't beneficial for Jackson to go in and beat up on a bunch of like lower level conferences.
And I think that says volumes to the McLeans, the Chillicothe's, the Courthouses, where they're like, we're not afraid of Jackson. You know what I mean? Like you might be a buzzsaw, but we're ready. You gotta really beat us. You know what I mean? Like,
well, when you're trying to build, you're trying to change that mentality and stuff like that. A lot of times you don't want a Jackson on your schedule, but where they, it's only 21-7. That's not too bad. It's probably a couple late touchdowns. It's probably it was probably like 7-point game most of the game.
And that's why I kind of go back to the moral victories. Like I said, we're really not here for everybody gets participation trophy, but I mean, you only lose to a buzzsaw like that, 21-7. You got to look at it on the other side. Like
going into halftime, Jackson was only up by a touchdown. It was 7-0, and then fourth quarter, it 2 touchdowns for Jackson, a touchdown for Chillicothe. So for the most part, through 3 quarters, that was a 7-point ball game.
And Jackson's putting up numbers on offense. They're a 50-point a game kind of offense. They're like. I don't know if we can say this enough. An absolute buzzsaw. I mean, they're the standard kind of down here. You know what I mean? They're going on deep playoff runs. But like
I know they give out these 10-0 like Letterman jackets. I've seen so many teams with those 10-0 jackets. Yeah, so many.
But Chillicothe, like I said, it's good for them to have teams like that on their schedule, so that way you're not going to get better by just beating up on a bunch of wimpy teams that aren't up to your standard. You get better by playing better teams, knowing what it's like that next year when they come around. They're like, we had Jackson 21-7. Now we know we're better. We're a year better. You know what I'm saying? Next year maybe it's 21-7 the other way. You know what I mean? And a person that could probably talk to us more about how great of Chillicothe history is a legend himself. We're talking about a 4-time Ohio track champion.
Dog.
We're talking about a Stanford Athletic Hall of Famer.
Dog.
We're talking about a top 50 draft pick in the NFL.
Dog.
The New England Patriots and was on their All-80s team.
Dog.
Starting in Super Bowl 20 against the 85 Bears.
Dog.
The Chillicothe legend,
Dog.
Gerin Varis.
Hey.
What a guy.
Garin, how's it going, my friend?
Going great, guys. Good to be with you and talk a little sports.
Yeah, how's your weekend going? You having a good weekend so far?
Yeah, pretty good. Back from the Jazz and Rib Fest.
Oh, yeah?
I think there's about 2 cows out in the field. I ate their ribs.
That's awesome.
I'm all for it.
Are you a dry rib guy? Or do you like to put a little bit barbecue sauce on them?
I like barbecue sauce. A good
There
barbecue
you go.
sauce.
Good man.
Light,
Good
light
man.
though.
Yes.
Light.
I'm,
It's gotta be seasoned too.
yes. A good season with a good barbecue sauce on some ribs is nothing better. So, Garin, we were talking about, Chillicothe. They're kind of, in a, I don't want to say a rebuild, but they got a new coach to kind of rebuild the culture. It looked like whenever you were in high school there, though, you were an absolute animal. I mean, obviously getting a athletic scholarship to Stanford, going to the NFL. Can you talk about your time playing in Chillicothe and how it helped you?
Yeah, I mean it's just had a good experience. We didn't win very many games, but we had a great small number, probably 33, 34 guys out. But the guys who were out there busting their butt, we had a good time and loved the game of football, playing in a very tough OCC league, and but then when they played us, they knew they were going to be in a battle.
Yeah. And it looked like you weren't just a stellar football player. It looked like, obviously, track, you win the shot and discus your junior and your senior year. And Dave Shoemaker told me that you played basketball with him in Poland Park and almost dunked on him so hard he broke his hand. So it sounded like you were a basketball star yourself. What made you fall in love with football over track and basketball and stuff like that and pursue that instead?
I mean, they were all. I loved every sport. I mean, no matter what I played, checkers or pickup, whatever. I mean, whatever sport it was, I wanted to be the best. And track was. I started throwing the 8th grade. I would have started in the 7th. Didn't have a track team for our 7th grade. So actually, instead of going out for track, which I really wanted to, I went out for the tennis team. And played at #1 singles on the tennis team.
Oh my God,
That's awesome.
So just whatever it was, track, and then basketball, of course. I grew up on Vine Street every day and Sunday
Vine
morning.
Street represent. I grew up on Vine Street too, Garin. So hey, I got ties to a legend.
That's it. Playing basketball at Western School against the legends of the playground, and all that competition. If you wanted to be out in the middle of it, you developed as a player.
Nice. Boys, Tony here. He's got a question for you, Tony.
I, playing all of the sports and having a lot of distractions and, like you said, wanting to be the best in everything you're doing, to go to a college like Stanford, you don't just walk in and get that, especially when you're from Chillicothe, Ohio. What was the work you were doing at the kitchen table in front of those books? Like, I know that had to take a lot of your time as well, and I'm pretty interested because small town, going to Stanford and doing what you did is just unheard of.
No, it's parenting, and it's who I had supporting me all the way through. Coaches, teachers, they wanted to see me succeed, and started with my mom and dad. In elementary school, I had to sit my ass down at the table and get my work done before I went out and played any sports. So that kind of started the foundation of what it takes to why education is important, and then the sports and stuff will come later. And I didn't like it at the time, but it's paid off.
Yeah, parents always looking out for you in the future.
I know. I got a 2-year-old. I'm working on laying that foundation now, so I'm looking for all advice I can get.
Garin, you go out to Stanford. It looked like you got to play with John Elway for a couple of years, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yes. I was recruited as a tight end out of high school, and I got there, and there were two other pretty good tight ends in front of me at the time. So I think they knew down that I was going to be, asked to go to defense, and I just wanted to play. I would have loved to caught the football from John Elway, but the defense, I was going to get playing time immediately, and that's I went there. But that's John from the other side of the ball, and I think still to this day, I think he's the greatest quarterback to play.
That 1998 Super Bowl is the first one that I can actually remember. It changed my life. I had the poster in my room for so long that it had changed the color of the wall when I took it down to go to the college. But Elway had a big effect on my life. But you made the right choice. I know going to defense just to get the minutes.
The crazy thing is, you get recruited as a tight end, you say, then they switch you over to defense, and then you don't do anything huge. You just, lead the team in sacks for all 4 years, and then you lead the team in tackles for loss for 3 years. I know you say you just want to be on the field and everything like that. How did you embrace, okay, I came here as a tight end. They want me to be a defensive end. I know I can be a monster. How did you just embrace the change of your role once you got there?
I think it goes back to coaching and parenting. It's like whatever you do the best to your ability. And any situation that it's just me. I feel like whatever I choose to go into, you're going to get 110%. And so I know what I'm capable of. It's just showing it to others that I have it in front of me.
That's awesome.
Well said, man.
Yeah, I was raised the same way with my parents. They told me, I don't care if you become a janitor. I don't care if you become a CEO. I don't care if you start a podcast with 4 other idiots. You have to do it to the best of your ability. You're going to give it 110%. So it's kind of awesome to see that you have those values as well, and to see them to go to fruition like that. And you're not just going to Stanford. You're not just leading the team in sacks and leading the team in tackles for loss. You get indicted into the Hall of Fame there. What was that? I know that's post-playing career there. What was it? What was that feeling like after you get indicted into a Hall of Fame of not just some other school? This is Stanford we're talking about. John Elway's played there. All these legends have played there. What was that feeling like?
Well, you're taking me back because I couldn't believe it. It was hard for me to believe when I was up on stage accepting the award. And the first thing I did, I don't know why I thought about it, but I took a camera up there and took a picture with me and the audience in the background just to prove to people that it actually was me.
Hey guys, I swear this really happened. Okay, this really happened.
I had to capture that moment myself, so they all laughed and everything. But I just, awesome. Playing with John Elway and being around Jim Plunkett so much, and Brooks Johnson was my track coach out there, and it was just an unbelievable experience for me. And probably the best decision, I tell people, was the best decision I ever made was to go to school there.
That's awesome. My buddy Adam, he's got a question for you.
Yeah, so, being a Southern Ohio guy and then transitioning into Stanford, what is some advice you have for some kids that are possibly, going a far way to school or something like that? Maybe some advice to help them kind of cope with the distance between their family and friends?
Yeah, I think it's a good point. And, one of the things that the recruiting trips that I took for football, I went to Michigan, I went to Penn State, Notre Dame, Kentucky, Tennessee, and I'm trying to think. Did I say Notre Dame?
Yes.
Notre Dame.
Is there anybody left?
So they were they were all, here in the Midwest, and Stanford came in late, and I said, I'd love to go out and just, see what the campus and what's happening out there, and just, loved it. But it was a tough decision to leave and be that far away, but it's where I think my mom and dad wanted me to go. It's where I wanted to go. And it was the best decision for me because Stanford was going to allow me to do track also and play football. Ohio State said no to that.
Wow.
And some of the other schools did. So it was, really, I wanted to be in a position where I did the things that I wanted me to do, and then what I could accomplish from that decision.
That's awesome, man. Bo Jackson kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going out there. I did not know
But I would say to the kids, and I say this all the time, is put yourself in a position to where you can make the decision of where you want to go. Don't let somebody else, box you in and feel that you got to go there. It's your decision, and you make the best choice for you.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
That's awesome advice, man. That I couldn't have said it more perfectly myself. I mean, that's some great advice. I mean, I've left home a few times. I was in the Navy for a little bit. I moved down to Florida. I've always came back, and that's kind of how I feel. Is like, I'm glad my parents let me be free and go see places like that, kind of expand my life. But going from Stanford, you go to top 50 draft pick to the New England Patriots. Second round, I want to say, was it 14th, 16th pick in the second round?
48 pick. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
30
top
and
50. That's all. And then you, as a rookie, right? You start in Super Bowl 20, and no big deal. Just the first play, you make Walter Payton fumble. What was it like, man, going from Stanford, which is a big college, and then you get drafted to the Patriots, and in your first year, you guys going to run yourselves against one of the most historic teams in the '85 Bears. I was rewatching the Super Bowl actually this week, man. Your guys' defense was nothing to shy away from either. I mean, you guys were some tough hitters, some hard hitters, some grinders. You guys had a little attitude to you. So what was it like going from Stanford to a Super Bowl run your rookie year?
Well, the funny thing is, before I got to the Super Bowl, my senior year at Stanford, the Super Bowl, if you remember, was played at Stanford University on the campus. And so I was a security guard standing guarding the Miami Dolphins bench from photographers and everything. Yeah. And then 1 year later, I'm starting in the Super Bowl.
Look at that.
What a memory.
Heck yeah, man.
But I mean, I look back, how weird that was to getting paid as a security guard for a Super Bowl and then playing in it. But we had a great year that year, and great offense, great defense. Andre Tippett was the opposite of me, Hall of Fame outside backer, and Steve Nelson inside. And we had a great defensive back, Ray Claiborne from Texas. You had Roland James from Jamestown, Ohio, went to Tennessee. And you had Fred Marion, and just a great defense that was hard nosed, and our game was turnovers, and that's why we were in a
against the Jets. You had a nice one come right down to you. Have a nice little return in that first playoff game, I think it was.
Yeah, that was my first playoff game. I get 3 sacks and an interception. And,
what a dog! I didn't want to bring it up. I was like, I was amazed, man. I got to see some of that footage. It was awesome.
Over here. I mean, and especially for the Patriots, for you to do that your rookie year against the Jets of all teams. I mean,
still a record too, by the way.
Oh,
that's the most sacks by a rookie in a playoff game.
Yeah, I saw that. What you just said, most sacks by a rookie in the playoffs. That's insane. Sorry to cut you off there. That's just insane, man. 3 sacks and an interception. And like you said, you guys were an absolute turnover machine. You actually start the Super Bowl off, like I said, with a fumble. You guys had a couple interceptions. You were kind of controlling that game there for a little bit. I saw one clip of there's a gang tackle on the fridge, and he got up to have some choice words, and you let the Inner Chill Coffee come out and say, hey, I got some choice words for you, my man. What was it like that? And I hate to bring up that I know it's a Super Bowl you wish you would have won, but what was it like going up against a team like that and Mike Ditka and Walter Payton and probably obviously the best Bears team that's ever played? Do you ever sit back and reflect on that?
Well, I mean, I always look at it, we had a great year. Nobody expected us to be in the Super Bowl. And we won 3 games on the road. And we had to beat the Bengals to actually even make it in as a wild card team at our place that year. So I mean that was kind of a dream too. I was always a Bengals fan as a kid,
Right.
and then to beat them to go get into the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl was pretty special.
That's
But
awesome.
but yeah, I mean three games on the road, we win, get to that game, and we ran into a buzzsaw. I mean, great defense Chicago had. Our offense didn't play up to snuff. Defense didn't play as well as we wanted to. So, second place in the world. Nothing I can do about it now. So
I want to ask you though. Coming from Chillicothe, we're a small town. We don't have a lot of people that can say that they've made it to the Super Bowl. What was that feeling like? You say that you were working the Super Bowl the year before as a security guard. A year later, you're starting in the Super Bowl. You're walking out. What was that feeling when you're about to come out of the tunnel and you're like? Was it just like, wow, like I'm a kid from Chillicothe, Ohio. I put my nose down. I worked my ass off, and I'm about to go play in the biggest game in the world. I mean, what was that like for you?
Well, this is no lie. This is the truth. That for years I swore to people that I was not introduced at the beginning of the game. My mind was so just gone. The experience that. I went back years later and I saw a tape and they actually do introduce me.
I love it.
That's awesome.
And I'm like going, you got to be kidding me. I swear I had no recollection of. I was floating across that field. I must.
I just couldn't imagine.
Felt like you're on like a whole new planet. I can't imagine. I mean, the biggest game I've ever played in is like a district final game. I thought I was like cloud nine.
Same thing.
Yeah. Just a bigger stage. Another accomplishment of yours. It's crazy. I have such a long list here. I want to make sure I hit all of them. But you retired in '92, right? You go to play with the Niners. I gotta ask, with Jerry Rice there and Steve Young, you were part of a dynasty there. What was it like being in that locker room, seeing how those guys operate? I mean, they had to have been some like robotic human beings. I feel like, to be on the level that they were.
Well, see, now we've got to rewind back to the draft of when I came out of Stanford. There's a Jerry Rice story here.
Okay.
So the Patriots have their first pick is at the number 16 in the first round, and San Francisco had just won the Super Bowl, right? So they had the last pick of each round. So New England and San Francisco got together. San Francisco wanted to move up, and because they didn't want to sit at 31, and they traded San Francisco pick with the Patriots. So the Patriots picked last in that round. Who did the 49er and I forgot this point. Bill Walsh was actually, they were going to take me in the first round if they stayed at 31, but they moved up. Who did they pick?
Jerry Rice?
No.
Jerry Rice.
Oh,
Jerry Rice.
Wow. Wow. That's insane.
So I say that, Jerry owes me some money.
Absolutely.
I'm going to get in touch with his HR right now.
Hey,
I'm talking to somebody.
He's
at least at dinner.
Being a key anchor pull for probably one of the biggest trades in NFL history too, and then to come full circle, '92. Did you go up to Jerry and be like, "Hey, where's my money, man?"
Yeah, we had a conversation about it. Yeah, so I always tell people I'm responsible for Jerry Rice being at the 49ers and being in the Hall of Fame, so I want my cut.
That's awesome, man.
It is.
But yeah, then you retire with the Niners for 1 year in '92, and then you get another honor of being on the All-80s team for the Patriots. Now, you at this point you've won a state title. You're in the Hall of Fame for Stanford, but to be on an All-80s, All-Decade team for an NFL team, obviously is nothing to just bat your, shrug off your shoulder. So I gotta ask again, what did it feel like whenever you got introduced to the All-80s team there?
It was a great honor. With the Patriot organization, we were the first Patriot team to get to the Super Bowl.
Oh, hey, there we go.
So I don't want people to ever forget that we started it all. That's what we
Laying
say.
the groundwork,
Yeah,
baby.
you don't get
Sure
Tom Brady
they
and
know.
Belichick without
Yes.
us, all right? That's awesome.
But no, I'm trying to remember what the question was.
Just what
were
did
you
it feel
just-
like whenever you got told that you were on the all-decade team for the Patriots?
Oh, the all '80s team, exactly. Yeah, no, the all '80s. I played with some great team in '85. I mean, my mentor was Julius Adams. Played 15 years at defensive end. My rookie year, I had to go up against John Hanna every damn day in practice, and I mean, that guy was a beast every day. Play against a Hall of Famer. That's where I learned to play the defensive line position against him, and but all the guys, Steve Grogan, all the old Patriots, we had a great time, and it was a great team, and that '80s was a good start to what they have now. No question about it.
And I want to bring up something. We've been talking about how much you've just been an absolute legend on the football field. I mean, it's been awesome. But I was reading some articles after you become AD. That's actually how I met you whenever you became the AD at Chillicothe that year. I was a freshman. And I read some cool quotes by you. One was you said, "What I do away from the NFL is what counts." And you also go on to say, "The NFL is past history, and my message to kids now is how I got there and what it took to get there." I read these two quotes, and then I saw that you go to Huntington's football camp to talk with kids, and you talk with the team. I remember you would come in whenever I was a freshman and talk to us. I just was wanting you to kind of elaborate on, like, it's so awesome to see you give back. You've gotten, obviously, all these amazing awards and stuff like that, and instead of sitting in an Eiffel Tower saying, "Look at me, I'm amazing," and holding all the information, you've been a great job of coming back, giving back to your community, and just trying to help out. Could you talk about that just a little bit for me?
Yeah, I mean, it's being part of a community, and no matter where I've been, whether it's in going out to the San Francisco area, and then I've lived in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, I've lived in New Hampshire, I've lived in Massachusetts. I mean, all around this country, and there are people who need things in every community that you go to, and the more that we can help people who are in need and just need a little extra effort or something, take the time to do it, and it's something that's always, I don't know where it comes from. My parents, I'm sure that, just to get out and help people if you can. And just something I've always enjoyed doing. I work hard at what I do, but that free time, I definitely make sure that I'm reaching out to the community and helping, as I'd like to do much more, but I do what I can. That's for sure.
Man, that's awesome.
Dude, you're awesome.
That's
absolutely awesome.
That's freaking awesome, man. Especially somebody of your caliber, just want to give back. Like I said, that's so great. And it looks too, you're part of the Ohio History Connection now, right? What do you do for them? What's your role for that?
Yeah, I'm a fundraiser, a donor relations officer. That the Ohio History Connection. We have the main center over on Route 71 here in Columbus and over near the state fairgrounds. And there's also 58 sites around the state that, we have historical markers and sites and ceremonial earthworks. I know Mound City and Chillicothe, the earthworks that are all around Site Mound and Hopeton and, all the great history that's in Chillicothe. I mean,
I was at one today. I was at an earthworks right downtown today. Yeah, actually.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I do a lot of work with that, and we're about to hear from the World Heritage Fund about whether we become the mounds become inscribed ceremonial earthworks. So that's coming up in September. So that means we will be, potentially with the pyramids of Giza, the Great Wall of China. I mean, all these great things that you hear about around the world, that Chillicothe could be part of that.
Oh, hey, let's go.
Let's go,
man.
I have to say, bring attention to it. People really don't understand how old some of these monuments really can be. Like Serpent Mound, that, not to get nerdy on it, but it shoots true north. Not true north right now, but true north thousands of years ago. So it's really interesting, and when people hear, oh, we're going to be with the pyramids of Giza, like, it sounds outlandish. It's not at all. Like, it's really not.
That's awesome, man.
You We're gonna have you come work with us. You got the right message there.
If there was money in archaeology, that would have been the degree I got, or quick money, I should say. I love it.
Garin, that's awesome, man. Like, look at this guy, man. He just keeps giving
Amazing.
back. I
Absolute
mean, it's
legend.
as I've born and raised in Chillicothe, I've lived here my entire life. It's an absolute honor to say I came from the same town as Gerin Varis. I mean, I feel like what you said, where you just want to give back. You work hard every single day at what you do. I just feel like you're the epitome of Chillicothe. You know what I mean? I feel like that's kind of the town that we have around here. I feel like we're just a hard-nosed working town. We give it 110%. And to have somebody as amazing and as you and the astounding career that you had, it's just an honor to have somebody like you represent our town.
And on our show.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I truly appreciate that, guys. And I want to say to, all the communities that are supporting athletics around and the kids, just forget all that other stuff, concentrate on making those kids better and teaching them about the next generation that's coming up, and quit all the bickering stuff and really get down to basics about, because there are a lot of kids in Ross County and the whole area in southeastern Ohio that there's kids out there that can take it to the next level. We just have to support them and give them the right direction and get the support behind it, because it should be happening at a much higher level than what it is right now, and I'd love to see that happen.
And that's exactly what we're trying to do here. We just want people to understand that what we have here in Southern Ohio, man, it's special and it needs to be out there for more people to see. Garin, thank you for coming on today, man. You're an absolute electric conversation, and we're talking about the all 80s team, Gerin Varis. We're talking about the Hall of Famer. I mean, I just need to rattle off this. You are, again, 4th all time in sacks, 5th all time in tackles for loss in Stanford history. The absolute legend, Gerin Varis.
Phenomenal.
Thanks for coming on. Garin.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys. Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Enjoy your Sunday.
What a conversation.
Oh, man,
oh my
great.
goodness. Awesome. I mean, to hear him say about just wanting to give back to the community after everything that he did, making just from wanting to the athletes to do better, all the way down to the mounds that we have, getting the recognition that they have, you know what I mean? This big historical thing. I mean, he's really just out here trying to help Chillicothe be on the map.
Oh, dude, he's doing great things after his football career. Like you said, football's in the past.
Yeah, football's. Was I awesome at football? Yes, but I'm not doing that anymore. I want to be awesome at life. I want to be awesome at what I'm doing now.
He's doing great.
Especially coming back, talking with the camp and stuff like that with Huntington.
Yeah, spreading it around the SVC, not just going to Chillicothe all the time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's
when
just
people
awesome.
ask what this show podcast is all about,
that embodies.
I just want to re-say what he just said.
Exactly.
Like, are you kidding me?
There's
like,
so many electric athletes down here that, why is nobody talking about it? Why did it take Joe Burrow to be the #1 pick in the NFL draft for people to be like, whoa, there might be some athletes down here? Really? It didn't take us going to the Elite Eight, the Final Four, winning championships almost every single year for you to realize that we might have some dogs down here? And I'm not just talking SVC. I'm not just talking FAC. I'm talking about Southern Ohio as a whole. What SOSA pretty much covers. The
South of Columbus. Yeah,
pretty much south of Columbus, a little over from Dayton. It's just, I can't express enough what Garin just said. That's exactly what we're going for, man. We just want to spread some love to these amazing athletes. We want people to know their names. We want people to see their personalities. It's just awesome that he got to pretty much take the words right out of my mouth. And he's a Stanford Hall of Famer. All 80s decade team with the Patriots. We talk about that Super Bowl. He's like, we were a turnover team. Yeah, you had 3 in the first quarter. I mean, against a stellar offense. I mean, it was wild to see. But to come off of cloud 9 after talking to a legend here and everything like that, we want to shift over a little bit to talk about some baseball. Shout out to you and Yoda. They won the league last year.
That's right.
Shout out to you and Yoda. Won the league. They win the league. Huntington comes in second, but this is something that I actually wanted to bring up.
Is that how you do it?
No. Don't ask somebody from Medina how to throw up a U.
Okay.
But no, yeah. So they win the league. They go on a nice run. They actually win a sectional title. I think they go into the district semis or the district final. I should really probably do a lot more research. Not a good host, but hey, we're here. But what I want to talk about and what I think shines so much light on what's so great about SVC baseball is Huntington finishes second, right? Sorry, I'm going to look here. They finished second at 11-3 in the conference, 19-5 overall, with Southeastern finishing 2-12 in the conference, 5-17 overall, finishing last place. Sectional title game when it's all on the line. Southeastern shows up and delivers and beats Huntington, the second place team in the league, to win a sectional title. I mean, you want to talk about grit? You want to talk about having that it factor? I mean, that right there.
That's when you add in another ingredient that I like to call swagger.
Okay.
Like, you got attitude, then you got swagger. That's
right.
Walking up there, just pushing the air behind you like, this is my time.
Exactly.
Well, and their schedule was loaded last year. They're just getting beat up and going
Not even
against
talking
good
about their
teams.
league schedule. Talking about their non-league.
Yeah,
too.
that's what I mean. Like, they're playing hard teams. This isn't cupcake schedules.
Yeah,
They ain't playing
and
nobodies.
That's when that comes to fruition. Whenever you're playing like hard-nosed team, tough teams, and stuff like that, when you get to the sectional final and you're playing, like I just said, the number 2 team in your conference, they just beat you twice this year. You're like, what do we have to lose? And that is the worst thing to have. Yeah. If you're the team that's expected to win, the number one thing you don't want the team you're playing is to start thinking, what the hell do we have to lose?
You don't want to back them in a corner.
Yeah.
Like, it's bulletin board material, all that stuff. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
You just don't want to mess
when a
with
team
it.
gets into the fight or flight mentality, I mean, it's just like,
It's scary.
yeah, because if it's the fight, you're going down.
You're getting the best version, If they have that attitude as well, you're getting the best version.
And it was a close game, so obviously 7 innings for the high school, right? So it was a 9-inning game, so double extra inning. Southeastern comes out and wins 8-6. So not even talking about coming over like a David versus Goliath situation, which they don't just overcome that. They overcome a tight-knit game.
Well, they came out. They were up 3 within the first 2 innings.
Yeah. Which is another thing, too. You're up 3, right? And at that point, and obviously I'm just speaking from how I would be on that
the
team.
third, there was a 3-run shot, and then 2 more runs scored before the inning ended. So it was 5-3. So it was just 3-0, and next inning it's 5-3.
And that's that
the other
5-3
way.
Huntington? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. They're probably on cloud 9 like, oh, my God, like we're up 3-0. They get flipped on their head 5-3. You can easily go straight into panic mode. Like, well, same old, you know what I mean? But for them to flip the script and come back to win, like I said, 8-6 in the 9 innings, it looks like they had some hitters. I mean, everybody on here that we're looking at, Joey Pfeiffer, Connor Smith, Hudson Drake, Colton Baxter, R.J. Cartwright, and Carson McWhirter, they all had multiple hits in that game, and that's something that you need to – pitching's going to win you the tournament. I mean, if you got 2 good pitchers that you can rotate, that's why we were so good in high school. We had Anthony McFadden, we had Mason McCoy. They were dogs. But if you aren't putting runs up on the board, you're not going to win the game.
The more hits you have, the more pressure you have on the other pitcher, too. It changes everything. Like, if there's a runner on base, you're pitching differently. You're thinking differently.
Well, well, I was going to say, they battled like that all year.
Yeah.
They was kind of that fight, bring that fight to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they putting up runs, they're battling back. You know?
Exactly. And kind of like what you're saying, when you're battling like that, when you have hitters, like say Huntington comes out, right, and they go up 5-3, they shut them out, right? You need to strung an inning together, whether you score some runs or not. If you can get 4 or 5 batters up there, you get the pitcher off the mound for a little bit, he has to kind of start thinking about okay, like now I got some time off and stuff like that. I can relax my arm, you know what I mean? Like I can go out there and I can reset my groove, especially after a big inning, the inning before, to go from 3-0, flip their head 5-3. If you can go out the next inning and, like I say, just get a couple of walks, extend the inning, give that pitcher just some extra time to think, like, okay, the inning's over, calm before the storm, ice my arm. Because he comes out, he gets 5-3. He only gives up 1 more run for the rest of the game. I mean, so you know what I mean? Collectively, like, that's saying something. That means, like, okay, you won. Look at Union softball. They had 1 bad inning, and it turns the complete other way. They end up losing that game. You know what I mean? Southeastern has 1 bad inning, but luckily it's earlier in the game to where they can come back, they can string some runs together, and they still have some time to make up the momentum.
That was kind of how they ended up getting put out of the district semifinal against Ironton. They were up 2-0 early, and it gave up 3 unearned runs.
Ironton was a wagon, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was just the 3 unearned runs, and then from there they just couldn't get the confidence back.
Yeah. Right, and especially against a team like Ironton. I think they go on that amazing run this year. I don't think they went to the Final Four, but I think they went to the Sweet 16, Elite 8, something like that. So whenever you're going into a wagon like that, you have to be on your A game every single inning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which not taking.
You don't beat those guys having bad innings.
Exactly. You have to have a perfect game when you go against us. It's like whenever we would play Unioda in basketball in high school, you had to have a perfect game against them because they were literally a perfect team. I mean, 69 straight games. So we had the first 3 quarters my senior year. Great quarters. Fourth quarter, they come out, 8-0 run. Game over. You know what I mean? Like, you can't have things like that happen. In baseball, you can't have a 5-0 inning and then not respond with that. I mean, it's just tough to come back from. But it looked like all around, Westfall, they go out against South Point, but they only go out 3-2 in a sectional final game. So, and it looks like they kind of finished lower down there. Yeah, they finished right in the middle at 6-8, 10-13. Now Zane Trace, they win a sectional title, and then they go into the district semis. They lose to Wheelersburg, which Wheelersburg we know baseball
Title town.
Yeah,
Title
wagon.
10.
And they only lose 3-1. Like that's like the 21-7 that we're talking about with Jackson Chillicothe. I mean, yeah, you lose 3-1, but that's Wheelersburg, title town. That has to give you momentum going into next year, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, absolutely has to.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Southeastern. Yeah, we finished last place. We just played we just won a sectional title. We were in district semis against Ironton. You know what I mean? Like a dog of a school. And it doesn't look like they showed up and were hitless. I mean, they had 3 runs, like you said.
Yeah, like I said, they were up 2-0 early.
Yeah, up 2-0 early. It looks like quite a few people had a hit, whether it was Tyler Brown or Travis Chenault. They were coming up with either 2 hits or 1 hit. I mean, some nice RBIs. It looks like Gage Cheadle had 2 stolen bases. That's huge with only 1 hit. So that means either you got walked and you stole a base, or you're stealing second and third. I mean, that's huge right there. I mean, you look like Ellie De La Cruz out there now stealing second, home, and third all in 1 inning.
The cycle.
The cycle of steals. Yeah. But yeah, man, and that's something, we want to again harp on. These baseball teams, it sucks, that we only have 2 winners. But looking at these games, man, I mean, they're close. Like I said, Westfall, Piketon loses 10-5 to Lucasville Valley, but if I can recall, that was a close game. That was like more of like towards the end of the game. Zane Trace, though, they play Alexander in the sectional final, 10-0.
I saw that. Yeah.
Like, absolutely dog-walks them, man. Like, that's insane. Unioda, their district semifinal, they only lose by 2 to Circleville. You know what I mean? So, it's not like they won the sectional and then just went to the district and just didn't show up. Like, looks like the Tigers led 4-0, so then they come back. It's just hard, man. Like, I hate to keep harping on this, but it's hard to go down and come back, especially in baseball.
When you sat there and you were like, you got to have 2 good pitchers. When you've got 2, the further you get in the year, the more innings you pitch, the more it's on the arm. It's nothing against the kids. It's just like, those teams like a Wheelersburg that might have 2.5, 3 kids that are coming up. Yeah. It's like that's going to be the difference. So to even lose something like 3-1 just kind of shows that, that's very, very respectable. And like you said, it's got to say something for next season. But I think I walk into next season, like if I lose to the best of the best 3-1, these guys are nothing. Let me walk through this division real quick. That's how my attitude would be. I don't know if they will, but that would be me at least.
Yeah, especially, dude. We got to be there for the Southeastern Huntington game next year for baseball because, kind of like what you just said, if I was the team that just finished last in the league and then I just put you out in the sectional final, you're going to hear me. Okay, you're going to be hearing me being like, oh, we're up 1-0.
Hey, what if you got to win this regular season game? We got them in the playoffs.
Like, hey, guys. I guess, if, like you said, like, we lose this, it's okay. Like, whenever it's winning time, we show up, we show out. Like, and again, that's probably why.
And you also have the other side of things to where they're like, hey, we finished first. Y'all took us out of the playoffs. we're dogging you every single
Every time I get a chance.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is so awesome about high school sports is like you go to a Zane Trace Unioto basketball game and let's say like last year Zane Trace wins it in football, right? And Unioto say Unioto gets a lead in basketball, the student section just be like, just like football, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of awesome how they'll just roll that into the next sport, like.
Because it's a school-to-school rivalry,
It
not
is,
a sport
man.
rivalry.
That's
It's
what's
still,
so awesome about the
I mean?
SBC, bro. Like, I know we said it before, but like every school freaking hates each other. Like every school, like Unioto, we're not here to bash you, but you are everybody's biggest rival. But you gotta have that. You gotta know you're gonna have that target on your back when you're winning all the time. Zane Trace, you know what I mean? They have a lot of schools don't like Zane Trace, but that comes with rings.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
Does Zane Trace
I'm
have
sure
like
everybody
a cool
loves
hand
Pay
thing?
Valley.
Hey. That's not cool. We win, okay? I have 2 league titles of myself, so. But you're right, but a lot of people do like us.
Everybody loved Vinton County when I was in high school.
Yeah, nice little easy double on the schedule.
Not so much anymore now. They don't really like us.
Yeah, I saw that they're kind of turning around their football program.
Especially in conference play, you know.
Yeah. Well, their who they got in their conference?
Oh, you know, I just had to play against like Joey Burrows and stuff like that.
That's not a big deal.
Yeah,
I mean,
but like you got like
what did he do?
There's 2 different sides. You got the Ohio and you got the Hawking. So in Ohio, you got teams like Vinton County, Wellston, Athens, Nelsonville, York, and then Alexander. And then on the Hawking side of things,
Alexander.
I think there might be 1 or 2 more teams. But
so is that heartwarming to you that Zane Trace destroys Alexander 10-0?
Not really, because they're a TVC team.
Yeah, but they're your TVC rival.
Yeah, I say Wellston is our rival because my high school was like 10 minutes away from theirs, and that's if you're going the speed limits. So yeah,
What's
Wellston
a
was
Wellston?
always,
What is a Wellston?
Oh, Wellston,
It's a tad.
It's a horrible place,
Dude, Wellston,
Get over here, Wellston.
It's a horrible
Wellston,
place.
the first thing that I heard about Wellston was whenever they had the ESPN makeover for the football field. Did you see that?
Yeah, you know why they did that?
Because they're so terrible.
No, because of a Vinton County player named Jalen Prater was just so awesome. He ended up going to Northwestern.
Oh, that's
Like
pretty
in NCAA 14, the video game, the last one. I'm pretty sure if it's not that one, it's 13. He's on it.
like on the game.
Yeah, he's on
I
the
thought you
game.
meant like on the cover. For
No, he's not on the cover. No.
Okay. So guys, we're going to take a short break here. Get nice little drink of water. Get some wave juice going. We'll be back here in 5 minutes. If you guys don't want to go anywhere, we'll be right back with some great conversation with the one, the only, Brock Netter.
Please don't go anywhere.
We'll be right back. Right now?
Yeah.
Well, welcome back into the show. Sorry about that. We had a few little technical difficulties that we were taking care of. We appreciate you sticking around for us. Making some pizza rolls, making some bagel bites, get a nice glass of milk or whatever. Actually, they're not milk. Do not get
God, what is wrong with
milk. Milk
you?
is disgusting, actually. If you're doing anything with milk other than using it for cereal, dead
Or
to me.
cookies.
Does good with chocolate.
Yeah. So we are going to, we have our guest right here. He's actually our writer for the Sosa. He just released a great article out here. He's the, like I said, co-founder of Sosa. He's the elementary school teacher. He is shaping the young minds of our next generation. Okay, very important job we have over here. He would rather die than not be writing for Sosa. The one, the only, Brock Netter! What? Brock,
What's going on,
taking
boys?
on the elements out there, Brock. Where you at?
Hey, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm not quite in a quiet space right now because I got a little surprise for you boys. I'm actually in Cincinnati here.
I'll tell you what. That looks like a box seat to me. Mr. Brock, are you in a box seat?
Are you in a suite?
I am not. I'm not in a suite. I am actually in what used to be called a Champions Club. So
you're
in our Champions Club.
You deserve to be in that club, Brock. You're the champion.
If it used to be called that, we're starting our own.
Oh, dude, hey, what's the score?
Right now it is 4-3 Cincinnati. It's in the bottom of the 8th.
There we go. Let's go, Natty.
Let's go, Reds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hey, who you there with?
Hey,
you there with
great.
Derek?
No, I'm actually here with my Uncle Tony and one of his friends.
Oh, nice.
And actually, you hear a big roar. That would be Spencer Steer with an RBI single. It's 5-4.
There we go. Reds.
Bring that steer with an RBI, my friend.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Let's
yes,
go.
Sir.
Well, Brock, hey, we just wanted to ask you real quick. We'll get you back to your amazing baseball game here. This is so dope. So, hey, Sosa, you guys put out your volleyball list this week for your top 30 players, right? It looks like the SVC had 9 players represented, with Unioto having 3, Adena 2, Huntington 2, Westfall 1, and Southeastern 1. Looking over the list, it looks like I see now why you picked Unioto to come back with the league. It looks like Ellie Cutright, she was 4th in aces last year. Abby Marshall was 5th in aces, and Jade Stewart 9th in kills. I know we went through your last list. This list, it had to be kind of hard, right? Especially with so much great volleyball talent coming around here. Can you kind of go through your list with us and see, what was some, I don't want to say shockers to you, but what were some players, after going over the stats and stuff like that, you kind of forget how good they were last year?
The list is incredibly tough to make, and the thing that I want people to remember is that it's not like a foregone thing. It's not like, okay, it's not okay, these are just the top 30 players. There are a ton of great players, but the 30 that we named, those are mostly the standouts. Those are the those are the kids who kind of get a lot of the headlines. So those are most of the names that you read. But even then, there's just so much talent across the board. It makes it so hard just to get 30 kids, and especially when every school that we cover, they have volleyball. So therefore, you're not just just to be on that list. You're not just one of the top 30 players. Just in like your conference. You're one of the top 30 players in all of Southeast Ohio. That's 80 plus. That's 80 plus schools.
That's insane.
You're exactly. And not to mention, you've got kids on there. 2 or 3 are from the exact same school. So that just speaks to the level of volleyball depth and talent that school has. But it's an incredibly hard list to make year in and year out, and just going through stats and it's no different than making the all area teams.
Right.
It all comes down to just those small margins, and the list gets harder and harder to make every year, but it also gets more and more fun to make every year as well.
And I'm glad you talked on the depth too, because Adena last year they win the league, right? And the top they only have 2 top 30 players, which is kind of crazy to say. But one of them being Townsend at number 3, it just seems like they have so much depth with their team. You know what I mean? Yeah, they have the star player, but it looks like they have so many great role players. Same with Southeastern with Josie. Is it Loghead? Am I saying that correctly?
Lougheed.
Lougheed, gotcha. See, that's why you're the champ here. Tony actually wanted to ask you a quick question about Southeastern.
To be honest, just seeing some of the video that we got, and I see some really good mentality and some grind coming out of those girls. We're going to have the opportunity to talk to the coach here soon as well. Can you tell me a little bit about them? Do you see any maybe some dark horse at them? What do you think?
So Southeastern, they're one of those schools that you can never really pinpoint, you know what you're going to get from them because they're so deep, but also at the same point they're very versatile as well. And I mean, keep in mind, even when Adina, they won 26, 27 games last year, they did not go undefeated in the SBC. Yeah. They went 13-1, and that one loss was to Southeastern. It was a 4-set game.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's wild. So they have year in and year out, they have so much talent, but because they play in the deepest conference, the deepest volleyball conference in Southern Ohio, sometimes you're seeing them finish, 4th or 5th in the conference, but I mean, in other conferences, they're either winning
first place
or they're second. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it's year in and year out, and I mean, they're on, I believe, if my math is correct, this would be their third different coach in the last 7 years or so.
Oh wow.
And I mean, but no matter who the coach is, those girls come ready to play every single game, and they give it their all. And I mean, they find themselves, in district finals, nearly year in and year out. So I mean, no matter who you put in front of them, they figure it out. It's just a mentality that program has developed over the last decade or so. That it doesn't matter what our numbers look like. We know who we are. We know what we bring to the table, and as long as we have, the 9-10 of us on the team, that's all we need.
Some might say that's a dog
mentality. So, Brock, volleyball is coming up here, right? I mean, the season's kicking off underway here very soon. What are some? Because I know obviously they're going to start with non-league play. And I know you're at your Reds game. I want to get you back to it, but what's some matchups that we can look forward to start the season? You know what I mean? Obviously, we got some returning players coming for some of the teams, but obviously, some other teams are gonna have some new stars coming in, some new role players. So, like I said, what matchups can we expect to be looking forward to as the season comes underway?
I mean, truth be told, every night is a dogfight. Whether you're playing in your conference or out of your conference. The thing about this season is that even though some teams they have a ton of returning talent, and a lot of teams don't. At the same point, because of the program's history and the level of success that they've had, that even though you may not know you may not know a player's name or what they're capable of, but give it about 15 points, 15 rallies, and you're going to know exactly who that player is.
Hell yeah. That's what it was like that Midnight Madness, man. We went to that Midnight Madness, and crazy. Southeastern was down twice, 13-8, going to 15 straight, and they won both of those games. St. Trace did it. Uniota, I mean, Uniota wasn't down. Uniota was just
Southeastern ended up in the gold bracket.
Yeah, and then Uniota Zane Trace go crazy in the last game. I mean, I think Zane Trace won the first set, and then Uniota comes back and wins the last two. I mean, is that much like all the time, man? Is it just you don't know what you're going to get when the SBC teams are playing each other? You just, it doesn't matter if this team's undefeated. It doesn't matter if this team's defeated. Somebody can win this game. It doesn't matter which one.
It does not matter inside the SEC. It does not matter at all. It's the same thing when it comes to tournament action. You're beating up on each other, throughout the regular season. Then you come to the tournament, you're like, oh, well, I guess we got to do it again. The only difference is it's either I'm staying and you're going home, or you're going home and I'm staying, one or the other.
That's awesome,
I mean, the talent is just ridiculous. It doesn't matter who takes the floor any night. You know you're gonna get your money's worth and much more.
Hell yeah. Well, hey, Brock, everybody, make sure you go over to Sosa's website, hit their Twitter page. Make sure you read that list. It's awesome. Very informational. It gives you last year's statistics and a good summary of that player. It was a great read for me, and I didn't even know half the kids on there. Brock, make sure that you get some Dippin' Dots for me. I like the rainbow color. I don't know about you guys. Cookie cream is good.
I'll get the brownie batter.
Brownie, okay.
Get the
Hey,
brownie batter. I just
enjoy
had
your
some
Reds game,
yesterday.
Brock. We really enjoy you coming on here, man. It was electric.
Absolutely, guys. Appreciate
Hey,
appreciate
the
you
legendary
having me on.
Brock Netter!
Hey, what a
Thanks,
guy.
guys. We'll talk soon. Also, 7-3 Reds. Top of the
Hey!
We're good luck.
We're the good luck charm. Let's go. Hell yeah. Stamp and approve right there.
We're gonna rub some.
Y'all
Hey,
take
Brock,
care.
thanks for coming on, man. Love you, buddy.
That's true. Talk to you soon.
Hell yeah.
Ooh, he didn't say I love you back.
Wow, Brock.
Wow.
All right.
Still love him.
Still a legend.
They're still gonna, hey, go Reds.
Go
Yeah,
Reds.
nice.
Now, hey, Cubs fan, but
Go Reds.
the Reds are
Go
good this year.
Reds.
The Reds,
Reds.
you won me over this year with Ellie. I mean, it's hard not to cheer for that guy. I mean, what he did in the AAA coming up, absolutely just turning around the Reds program. I mean, that is something.
The
Makes
funniest
that
part
whole
about
team.
that is
Yeah.
my cousin watched him play for the Bats, and then the very next weekend I was watching him in Cincinnati.
Oh, man. And, you know, we're talking about somebody that's turning around a program. Somebody that's
Built a program.
Yeah, building programs. Basically, wherever you go, winning is just known to follow. I mean, you don't just win, 500 games?
Over.
6 championships?
What?
Absolute dog status. Mr. Baseball himself, Casey
Hey, thanks, guys. I'm excited to be on. Love the show.
Thank you so much
man.
for
Thanks,
waiting.
man.
First of all, thank you
Yes.
so much for sticking with us.
Yeah.
worries.
Casey, how's
Worth
your
the
weekend
wait.
going?
Fantastic, man. We just finished baseball season about a week ago, so this is kind of that time of the year where I get to unwind a little bit and do some other things that I enjoy. And man, I'm already enjoying it.
Heck yeah, man. You got to enjoy that free time.
While we're jumping into it, I see a Foo Fighters shirt over there. I'm a big fan myself.
Hey, there we go. There we go.
Hey, you know what? I've got a Grateful Dead T-shirt too. I should.
Let's go! All right.
My type of
There
guy.
we go. Okay, so we know you're not just a genius in baseball. Good band
Let's
material.
go.
music. Great music.
Okay,
taste.
awesome.
I like to think I'm well-rounded.
Yeah, heck
You
yeah.
have to be with your record. Over 5, that's half a thousand.
Yeah.
6 championships.
Yeah, so, hey, Casey, so that's something I want to get in here, man. You don't just accidentally win 500 games. You don't just accidentally fall into 6 championships. What is? I mean, people around here. We were reading articles. They're stamping you Mr. Baseball. I mean, that's something
It's
that's
official.
Awesome. What's something? What can you say to attest to just winning? I mean, is it the coaching style? Obviously, relationship with your players. I mean, what is it that just success follows you like a lost puppy?
I think for me, when I took the first big jump in my baseball career, I was 27 years old and I was just getting done with playing, and I said, I'm going to get into coaching, and if I'm going to do it, I'm going all the way. And what I meant was, at 27 years old, I had lived in 1 or 2 places between Redding and Chico, California, my whole life, up until 27 years old, and I had done baseball my whole life up until that point too. And it got to a point where I couldn't go any further in those areas, you know. So for me to progress in my baseball career, it would mean leaving and taking whatever best opportunities came up, meeting new people. And the hard side of that is I lived in those 2 places for my whole life. So that's leaving friends, family. At that time, it was leaving a full-time job. So when you get to the point, I guess is what I'm getting at, where making it in baseball and success in baseball became my survival. You know, so it wasn't just winning to me. It wasn't just, this is fun, it's baseball, this is great. This was literally, I've given up everything in my life to get to a point where I have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Hell yeah!
Oh
Yeah.
my
Hell
goosebumps!
yeah.
I got
Hell yeah.
goosebumps.
We were just talking about that. We were
When you
talking.
get to that point, it's like you're taking on people that may be doing this as a seasonal job, or you're taking on people that maybe they were great players and they fell into this, and I'm not putting those people down, but for me, it was survival, and being successful in an opportunity meant me getting my next opportunity.
Right,
So it was much more than just the game. It was a lifestyle. It was everything in my life for a long time, and it was just all about, I'm either going to make it or I'm going to not. So why not
Right.
put everything I have into it?
And that's all. I'm glad you said that. We were just talking. The local high school league around here, it's called the SVC. We were just talking about a team that finished last, and the team that finished second played for the sectional title game, sectional championship. And the team that was in last place, ends up winning for the sectional title. And we're kind of saying what you said. You know, when you are playing with absolutely nothing to use, you're dangerous. You're somebody that be on the lookout for, because when you have nothing to lose, like you said, you just throw all your eggs in that basket and you're a workhorse. And obviously it has worked well for you, like I said, with the 500 wins, the 6 championships. And it looks like you're the manager of the Palm Springs Power. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, I do a lot of different things in baseball. The manager of the Palm Springs Power is certainly one of them, and I've done that since 2016. And that's one of my favorite jobs in baseball I get to do. And we just finished up our season with another championship.
Team championship.
You're gonna run out of fingers, put your rings on, man.
You should have corrected us earlier. Michael, who?
Yeah, no, that's a good problem to have. I mean, it's I look at these challenges and these seasons I view them as challenges. It's easy. They say it's easier to reach the top than it is to stay on top, right? So now every year is just a new challenge. Like, it's not like I'm coming by surprise. It's not like I'm this new guy in baseball anymore. It's like people are coming at me, and there's always a target on your back when you're doing that. And so the challenge is to kind of stay on top. Now,
yeah, hell yeah.
I hope those fans respect that, because here with the Paints baseball we have around here, I'm sure you're familiar with the Frontier League. That used to be the league that the Paints were in. But I hope those fans respect it, because, man, I'm telling you what, we got a lot of coaches kind of coming through here, and I'd love to have a staple like you know?
Hell yeah. And that, I want to harp on, so you say, obviously, you're grinding to get to the top. You're there. And now you're grinding to stay on top. How do you look at it differently, obviously, from being on the bottom trying to get there to now I'm here, now I got to do what it takes to stay here? How do you look at that differently?
Well, I take on different challenges. For example, 2 years ago, I hired Sam DiMatteo. He was just done playing minor league baseball. I hired him for his first head coaching job. He moves from Pennsylvania to Southern California and is my assistant for really 3 years. At that point, he gets hired as the head coach of College of the Desert. College of the Desert is a junior college here in our community. And I have no desire to want to be a college coach or anything, but at that time, College of the Desert was the worst junior college in the state of California. So you're talking about close to 400 teams. College of the Desert traditionally is terrible. And I said, this is an opportunity. Yeah. This is an opportunity to take something that's really bad, a bad baseball program, and I love the challenge of, I'm going to take what is bad and turn it into something great. And and this is me helping my assistant coach, Sam, too. It's his program, but this is me helping him with his program. And in year 1, we win the league championship for the first time in 60 years. We had 5 of 5 players move on to 4-year universities. We made it to a regional, won the regional, ended up losing in the super regional. But so that's something, like, to me, that's a challenge. And so I view my career now as taking on different challenges like that. And so it's like, I'm not limited to managing. I'm not limited to coaching. I take programs and turn them into winners, and that's kind of what becomes my motivation at this point.
And it looks like you're not just doing that. It looks like you're scouting too, right? You went to scout school for the MLB. Is that correct?
I did.
How was that?
So when I was in that mode of I've got to make baseball my career, managing, I would say, is my number one thing that I love. But managing, what I realized over time, is a 3 or 4 month job. It's usually not full time until you make it, pretty high up into the minor league ranks. So I said, you know what? I need a backup plan. I'm going to pursue scouting, and I started pursuing scouting, and I met a lot of the right people. It's a kind of a weird story about how I caught my break, but I was a scout at the time, was an area scout for the Red Sox, and he says, I've got this top 5 round draft pick. I need someone to throw batting practice. One thing I'm terrible at, just to let you guys know, is throwing batting practice. So I was the only guy that was willing to do it. I said, sure, I'll give it a shot. And I just, terrible batting practice. I hit the guy. I'm just, just as bad as I thought I would do. But the scout came up to me and he said, thank you. Like, I would have not been able to make this happen without you. I was like, okay, sure. but I maintained a relationship with that guy. His name's
Oh, yeah.
Tom Batista for 5 years. And after 5 years, he went from area scout to national cross checker. National cross checker is the guy that flies around the country, and he sees all the players that are going to be in those top 20 rounds. So he's the guy that's going to the scouting director to make draft decisions. So
Right.
he's way high up on the totem pole. And the way Major League Baseball does it is one team is allowed to sponsor a person to go to scout school a year. That's all that it is. So 32 people a year go to Major League Baseball scout school, and I had bugged him every year. Let me be the guy. Let me be the guy. Let me be the guy. In 2015, they sent me to scout school.
Let's go!
Yeah,
Go.
good year.
Yeah.
Great year.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Grinder, I
A
love it.
huge break in my career that's opened up so many more opportunities. So I do scouting as well. I actually sign players for the Frontier League and the American Association.
hell
A
yeah.
lot of my scouting is done for those MLB partner leagues. But if I ever see a draft prospect type guy, I can certainly write up a report and turn it in. So
Hell yeah.
just a huge break I caught, and it was a big moment in my life and career.
You
Awesome,
call it a
man.
break, but you saying you bothered him every year, like, don't sell yourself short. I'm seeing a lot
Yeah,
of,
you
like,
worked
you
hard for
can't
that.
be
Deserved it.
stagnant. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Challenging yourself constantly. Pressure makes diamonds.
Hell
man.
yeah. Casey, our guy Eddie here, he has a couple questions for you.
And I seen
Sure, yeah,
that you.
absolutely.
I seen that not only coaching, but you pretty much started a team from managing it to running it. How is that? You know, how'd you take on that challenge?
So that's actually probably the most important part of my career, I would say, and it's a very unique story. So at 18 years old, I'm this high school baseball player. I go, wanting to go play college, but I come from a very middle class family, and we live in a very mid-sized, 50,000 people, not very big, but there was one summer team in town, and it was like $2,000 to play for it. And my family's just like, we couldn't afford it. So I took the initiative to create my own baseball team.
Hell yeah.
And,
He's
and
like,
I-
you know what?
and I
If
took
I
all
can't
the-
have it, I'm going to just make it. I'm like, that's awesome. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
That's
So
legendary.
then I took all the best poor kids. I took all the best middle class poor kids in the community, and we started beating the rich kids with all the money.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Turns out
Sorry.
baseball isn't about how much money your parents make. It's just a game, and you know what I mean. And I had people in the community that helped me fundraise. They forced me into public speaking. They forced me into things that I didn't like, but they gave me skill sets. And what they were giving me was the skill set to really create something from nothing. And that's where
Yeah.
and that team was called the Reading White Sox, and it was a high school senior project that developed. I ran it till I was 27, when I left, and so I learned how to schedule games. I learned how to do insurance stuff. I learned how to hire coaches. I learned how to pick players. I developed
Jeez
relationships.
Louise.
So
What'd you
now I
learn
have
how
the
to
skill
not
set
do?
to create anything.
That's insane,
Yeah,
man.
it's a good question.
That's awesome, man. I mean, you don't really get to talk to people that literally created a team, managed the team, and just made the team a wagon.
Yeah.
Like, that's
And not only creating the team, but doing it for some people that wouldn't have
Yeah.
access to baseball. Coming from Philadelphia, I'm familiar with the Reading area as well, mainly the Reading Phillies, if you're talking PA Reading. But that being said, they talk about inner cities not having access to baseball and being
Yeah.
able to afford baseball. Like, I think that's just amazing that you'd be willing to make a team and do that for
Yeah.
those kids,
and that's awesome, man. Like, we had a guy on early named Gerin Varis from our hometown. He played for the Patriots in the Super Bowl 20 and stuff like that. And he's talking about giving back to the community. It's just awesome. And Brock, the guy we had on before you, he's the writer for our local paper. It's just awesome to see another guy coming on here like, hey, man, like, I'm ready to give back to the community. It's so cool to hear you say, like, yeah, these rich kids thought that they were tough shit. And then we
Yeah.
came around here like,
That's right.
we might have money, but we have L's to hand out. You know what I
You got
mean?
your DeMarini air chamber bats. Let me show you what the Rollins garage bat
Take that
can
$500 bat up the road. I'm gonna hit it with this $50.
That's right.
Right.
So,
That's it.
so Casey, I want to ask the Palm Spring Powers. Are they in the Southern California Collegiate Baseball League? Is that what that is? Or can you speak on that a little bit?
So that league, we were in that league up until 2020 when
Okay.
COVID happened. Several teams in that league didn't survive, basically.
Okay.
So this year we founded the California Premier Collegiate League. So this was the first year of a new league, and the last 2 years previous to this, we've been playing as an independent, just because COVID really affected things in California. A lot of schools were down for 2 years here, where a lot of the country was 1. So they're just now kind of getting over that hump.
Okay. It sounds like it doesn't matter what conference you're in. You're just going to start serving up L's to everybody.
Dubs regardless.
I got to ask, man. So Foo Fighters, Grateful Dead, game's about to come on. You got to listen to some pregame music. What are you throwing on?
I've got an entire, and I call the playlist Coach's Office. But what I do in my free time is I just add songs to this Spotify playlist.
Hell yeah.
And a lot of it's going to be 90s and 2000s rock. Foo Fighters, Offspring, Nirvana, Pearl Jam.
We're rocking out. I was listening to Yellow Ledbetter literally on the way here.
I literally threw my neck out last week from Headbang Until Alive by Pearl Jam. So I'm right there with you.
I think the kids are calling that dad rock nowadays.
I'm not a dad.
Rock.
I got a 2-year-old.
Casey, I mean, obviously, you're out here destroying baseballs. You're out here destroying everybody else's hopes of winning baseball games. It looks like here, too, you went 35-3 in your first year, which was the best record in, 16 years.
That's it.
What's a big – so we had my former coach on here, and he said that the biggest thing for him whenever he's trying to turn a program around and, establish a culture is all about relationships. He had a great relationship with all of our players, and it led to success on the court. And he said that was just one of the staples of him turning around a program. What's the staple for you whenever you go into these teams and try to turn them around? I mean, what was your staple? You're building a team from scratch. Obviously, you had to have a staple point. What's that for you?
I think the biggest mistake a lot of coaches make is overcoaching. What I like to do is maximize each individual's talent to their best ability. So a lot of that is letting them go play, letting them have the freedom to go play. And then if they do stuff that I don't like or things we want to adjust, we adjust. It's not like I'm in there telling them when to swing, calling plays all the time. It's like I believe in recruiting really good players and high character people. And hey, go play. And we'll make adaptions off of what you do. Versus this is my way of playing. You're going to play this way, or I will find someone that does. That's a lot of coaches try to fit people into the way that they coach versus I'm going to adapt the way that I coach based off of each individual person's strength.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, it's a lot of maximizing individuals' strengths. And to me, it's like that's one of, I think, my best skill sets. But I also don't understand how other people don't understand that more. How can I get 25 guys to play exactly how I want to versus these are 25 guys with 25 different skill sets. They all do different things well to different varying degrees. Why am I not maximizing everything that each guy does to the best of their ability? And I think that is a big part of what happens on the field. And then the gentleman that you mentioned is relationships and communication. There's open communication. Me as your coach or your manager, I may have to tell you stuff that you don't like. It's not to hurt your feelings. It's to get the best out of you and to tell you what you need to be successful. So if your players trust you and you have open communication in that relationship, I can tell you exactly what you need to hear. You can take parts of it that you need and apply it. And so that's what it is. That's a very shortened version of it. But I believe in letting people be the best versions of themselves and just adapting with each other.
That's awesome.
Have you ever thought of making a coaching video? Jesus, I'm about to clip this out and sell it. Somebody needs to hear
I was
this.
going to say, I'm ready to suit up. Who playing here? That's, Casey, man, that's awesome to hear you say because, me personally, I was not the star athlete. I was about a good role player. And the reason I was able to accept that so well on all the teams I had is I was just fortunate enough to have coaches that, like we just talked about, They sat me down. They're like, look, man, this is what you're good at. This is where you're going to succeed on our team, and this is where we need you. So it's kind of cool to see somebody with the success that you've had, and it just seems like relationships are just a huge part of success. I want to segue, man. It seems like you're super passionate about baseball. I mean, it's awesome to watch because I love baseball. It's going through some hard times right now with viewership. I feel like it's on the way back up. What got you so into baseball? What made you just fall in love with the sport?
Part of it was I knew that I loved it at a young age. So it's what I played. It was my number one hobby. It's what I worked to do. I wanted to go play in college. And then after college, I kept playing and I was running my team. But I also started getting into the real world. and having other jobs, right? Like I was a delivery guy for Office Depot for 3 years, and I delivered 50-pound cases of paper every day, and it was like,
Michael
okay.
Scott.
And this was considered a good job, and it was a good job, but I'm like, I can't do this the rest of my life, right? Like, I don't feel like I'm making a difference in other people's lives. I don't feel like I'm living to my full potential and purpose. So part of it was I love baseball, yes, but the other part of it was I never identified in a professional setting as wanting to do anything else.
That's awesome.
So it's like, well, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is where I can make the most impact. This is where I'm going to maximize who I am, and nothing else is an option. That's kind of the place I had to get to pursue it to the extent that I have.
Dude, that's awesome. I love to hear that. It sounds like you just followed your dream too. You're like, you know what? I don't care what's going on. This is what I love to do, and I'm just gonna pursue it. Man, that makes my heart happy.
Well, I liked it earlier when he was saying that he basically did a sink or swim moment with himself, to where he just said, like, I left a full-time job, left all this comfortability, and I kind of made myself have to make it. I thought that was just really awesome.
You had a quote in a podcast. I forget which one. I'm sorry. But you said you like to always lead with happiness and the way you look at life. I just like you to elaborate on going through all of that, how you kept that mindset.
Sure, and I'll use, I guess, life as an example, and then baseball too. Like in life and in baseball, we're all going to fail. We're all going to go through difficult times. Hard times are going to happen. Difficult things are going to happen. All of these things. If we focus on what is negative, or we focus on, for baseball, failure, then you're already thinking about losing. Or if you're thinking about, like, I always have players that come up in big moments, and they're thinking about the moment. Oh my gosh, there's game-winning run on second base. There's 4,000 people in the stands, blah, 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 blah. And I say, why are you thinking about that? Because you should be thinking about what you need to do to execute in this moment, right? You need to be thinking, what pitch is coming? What pitch did this guy throw me last time? What is a successful at bat? Is it moving the runner over to second? Is it I got to hit all these different things? So I guess within life and in baseball, if you're always thinking about the bad things and the failure that will inevitably happen, you're actually creating more failure, more negativity, and you're just going down like this downward spiral where now you're like, inevitably negative things are going to happen. But if that's what you focus all your energy on, well, now more negative things are going to happen. How are you going to succeed when you're thinking about failure or being negative? So it's always about complete confidence. And hey, things are going to go bad. I'm not going to win every pitch, every at bat, every game, most games, but not every game. But and being able to have complete confidence that in my next opportunity, I know that my effort and who I am and what I put into this, I'm going to inevitably be successful. So that's kind of where I, what I think about it. I always try to get rid of negative thoughts, remove the thought of failure. It's going to happen, but you have to be confident. You have to lead with positivity, and inevitably more success and more positive things will happen.
Hell yeah. I love how in there where he's like, you're not going to win every game. Most games, but not every. that's where that confidence.
Look at his record.
It's like,
he
hey,
wins
just so
most.
we're clear, I lost today. I just won 30 straight times. So just Casey, man, you're awesome. You're electric. I mean, to come on here with a Foo Fighters shirt, you just set the tone. I love it. I gotta ask you one question before you get off here, Mr. Baseball. Who you liking this year when it comes to the MLB? Obviously, our Reds over here are absolutely hot. They are winning today.
The Phillies are always sneaky.
Yeah, I love the Cubs. Not our year, not our decade. We had our 108-year streak broken, so in 108 years they can win another one. I don't care.
Marlins team's looking pretty solid.
Yeah, who you thinking for MLB-wise this year?
I mean, the Pirates have been really good this year.
Yeah.
They've been an interesting team that have kind of come from nowhere. And I certainly wasn't expecting them to be as good as they were. And, it's still early. A lot of things. I always say, man, once you get to playoffs, and you guys know this too, like playoff baseball is intense. And
it's a whole different atmosphere. It's a whole different sport almost.
I love playoff baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. I love the play-in games. I love every round. I love the World Series.
Yes.
So it's hard to pick a winner now, but I would say I do like Pittsburgh. And then a big sleeper in the National League. Man, the Dodgers are underachieving this year, and the Padres have just fallen off a cliff.
They have. I don't know what happened to them. Yeah, the
They had a
Padres,
stacked
man, are
lineup,
super
too.
underachieving this year. I mean, it is
Yeah.
insane.
And
Scout-wise, though,
the
man.
Oh, wait, he
Giants,
didn't get
though,
to
I
it.
think are
Oh, yeah.
sleepers.
The
Sorry.
Giants.
I was
Sorry.
thinking San Francisco Giants could be
Giants.
sleepers.
Okay, Giants. I like that. Now, obviously, you go to Scout school. I have to ask you, Scout. We would not be doing our jobs, even though we don't get paid for this, if we didn't ask this question. Shohei Ohtani, man. What the hell? I mean,
Alien?
As
Is
a
it confirmed?
scout, I mean, our opinions aren't professional.
Non-human.
We're not Mr. Baseball.
No.
What is it like? I mean, I would say we're watching a modern day Babe Ruth, right? But in my opinion, it just looks like he's better than what Babe Ruth was doing. I mean, he's doing things that we've never seen before.
Well, it's like if Babe Ruth had all the science and technology and knowledge in the world to help him become even better. It's like that's what
Yes.
Shohei Ohtani did growing up. He had every resource imaginable to not only be, I mean, he was born extremely talented, right? But now he's a extremely developed and he's maximizing that talent with extreme development and strength and conditioning and all of this stuff. And he's become a superhuman. That's the only.
Dude,
I'm
that
getting
world,
like
Literally
Drago from
getting
Rocky
2
IV
players in one.
vibes.
yeah, dude, that World Baseball Classic where him and
Trout
Trout
against
literally
each
came
other?
down to the last at bat, like that was electric.
That was
What
one
a
of
way to start the
coolest moments
MLB
in
season
recent
too.
baseball history.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Casey, thanks again for coming on, man. We hope this is the last time,
Legend.
especially with this food fight. Hey, next time I want you dead shirt on here, though. I need to see how that's rocking.
I was a little nervous. I'm like, should I wear my Foo Fighters shirt? And then when
Hey,
you guys came on and I saw
gotta
the
show
Grateful
out.
Dead stuff, I said, oh, I'm good.
Oh,
I'm good.
yeah.
You gotta show up.
Hell yeah. Hey, everybody, our over 500 win, now 7-time champion,
Dog.
Mr. Baseball, Casey Dill.
Legend.
Legend.
You guys,
What a dog.
Legend.
Thanks for coming on the show, man.
hope we'll do it again. Take care, guys. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, what an interview.
What an
I mean, oh
absolute
my gosh.
legend.
It
We
sounds
talk
like
to a lot of people who know a lot of stuff, but he knows everything there is to know
dude,
about
oh,
To
that's-
build a
man.
team from nothing.
And just say, I'm going to take not the scrubs, the shrubs, like you don't have enough money to play baseball? I don't care. Can you play baseball?
Yeah.
Like,
And
something
one
else
of
that's real
32
impressive-
people to go to a scout school.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was just saying, what else is impressive is the league that all those teams were in, collegiate, like the collegiate league, got shut down because of COVID, basically. So he helped found.
COVID.
I wanted to be
He
like,
was
they got
taking
shut
all
down
the
'cause they
chips.
Didn't have you.
He was taking all the chips.
I think the biggest thing that I loved was because I kind of echo it, and I feel like when he says like make a lot of little challenges throughout the day, like if you just do next pitch or next person you're talking to at work, whatever it is, one at a time, you can get a ton of mini victories that keeps you on a really positive path.
Yeah.
And just like you said, if you harp on the negative, you're not looking at the next task. So I feel like through the day I do that sometimes where I'm just giving myself
Yeah.
more task, and it
that
leads
little
to
Going
win
into
better.
a
can become a huge victory, like
Yeah.
you said.
Going into
Right.
a task with the mindset, I have to do this, as opposed to,
I
I
get
get
to.
to do this,
Yeah.
is a huge difference.
And
you
that's
know?
why I'm glad you asked that question about him bringing joy to everywhere he goes, man.
Yeah.
Like
Leave with positivity.
when you're
I think
losing,
is-
obviously he didn't do it a lot, but when you're losing, like I remember my junior year, we thought in basketball we were about to be really really good, which we were good, we were really good the next year, but we went through a little stretch. We had about like 5 straight losses, right, and it was a tough time. But we all had fun together, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, the loss sucked, but at least the next day we could all still get together, go play hoop in the park, play 2K or something like that. So to have, and Shu was a big part of that. He goes, you need, kind of what Casey said, you have to have fun what you're doing.
I mean, I took a 56-point loss against Episcopal Academy when they had Gerald Henderson and Wade Ellington. They played 4 minutes maybe, and we still lost by that many points. And actually, Jay Wright's son was the small forward on that team.
Oh, wow.
Cooked me. I've never seen a more perfectly formed shot in my entire life. But either way, coming out of that game, one, it was cool to play against the guys we were playing against, but none of us cared. We were all just kind of sitting there like, man, this has been a fun season. Like, I don't remember looking back and being like, damn, 56, like we could have did better than that.
Right.
But it was like, we
Well,
just looked
especially
at it
when
on
you're
the
playing
bus
against
back
some
like,
legends, yeah.
I'll tell you what, GH almost dunked on me. Like,
Looking like Shu out here with a broken hand.
that
whenever the camera went on
positivity.
him.
But it carries in, and we got some dubs we probably shouldn't have had that year.
Yeah.
So I think that
Well, guys, listen, we're talking about building teams. Nobody's built a better team than Adam. I mean, he is 2 weeks in a row absolutely destroying it.
2-0.
One last week with 63% of the vote. So it looks like you're going to get to go again. And we'll keep it on the basketball theme. We are going to be drafting a 5-man. You got point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. But they're going to be superheroes. So winner gets $1 million is what we'll say to make it seem like something worthwhile. Adam.
I heard it's a bajillion.
Yeah.
Oh, bajillion?
Yeah.
Oh, now I have to change my team.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Adam, we will start with you again this time, and then we'll just go the opposite way this time. So we'll do Adam, Andy, Tony, and then me until one of us can finally come up with some dubs over here. So, Adam, with the number 1 pick in the Ride the Wave Weird Draft Show, who are you taking?
Well, there's a lot of options here. There's a lot of
There's
people
not a
on this
clear
board.
101.
There is not a clear number 1. I think I'm going to have to go with one of my OGs, one of my favorites. It's going to have to go with Spider-Man.
Okay.
Real athletic, real strong,
All right.
has that web.
Solid pick.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, too, that we need. What is he playing? Is he your point guard?
He's going to be, he's kind of a younger guy.
See, I don't kind of like the PG, though, because he's got sticky hands.
I do like the PG, but, so I see. I'm
Jumping ability through the roof.
See, I think he's probably gonna be my point guard, but he's not gonna be my guy taking the ball up the court.
Gotcha.
Because he's just not gonna be my
Spider-Man as your
forward
point guard.
It even leads like a segue. Maybe he's got somebody else he wants bringing the ball.
Ooh, okay. So, Andy, Spider-Man off the board. I know that has to be heartbreaking to you. What are you going with your number 1 overall pick, and what will they be playing for you on your team?
I think I got to go size.
Okay.
I'm going to go Hulk. I'm going to put him at the 4.
Oh,
Hulk
okay.
at the 4.
Solid 4.
That is a solid 4. A stretch 4, maybe.
That's
You going to
right.
have him do some shoot and dunking?
I know he's
not-
a powerhouse down
Okay.
there, dude.
Powerhouse.
All right.
That's
Tone,
your Serge Ibaka.
Hulk, Spider-Man off the board. Who you going with?
I just feel like I have to go here with my PG being Flash. Just
Flash,
pure
all
right.
speed.
Yeah.
Solid
Ball up the court. Let the chunkies get some time to get up there. We'll be fine.
Okay. So, Spider-Man.
You just know
Flash.
that speed's gonna be a little out of control though out there.
Yeah.
They look like a young
So-
I
Russell
don't know. You can
Westbrook.
stop on a dime. Bing.
So I need somebody to. I think I'm gonna have to go with the point guard here for my first pick to guard your guys' point guard. So you're gonna be getting me with the sticky finger Spider-Man. You're gonna be getting me with the speed. I think I have to go with.
Gary Payton.
No.
Oh.
I think I have to go with Superman here.
Fair
just
enough.
because.
As the PG?
Now hear me out. As the point guard, because you have to not have a huge ego to be able to spread the wealth.
I like where you're
Because I thought my second pick was going to be my point guard, which is going to be Iron Man, but he's an asshole. So he's not going to want to be spoiling it. So I'm going to actually draft Iron Man as my small forward.
See,
Ooh,
I
I
would
like
put him
it.
at the 2 guard.
Utility man?
Yeah, see, I think... I
Soups
think,
would have been my 3, but I understand
Yeah.
why you put him at the 1.
Oh, yeah, so I'm going to put Superman at 1. So, Tony, going to go back to you here. You have Flash as your point guard. Who you
I'm
going
taking
with
my center here.
next? Okay.
Are we allowed to potentially move between 4 and 5? Because, depending on how
they
things kind of
switch.
run. Only because I want Mr. Fantastic, Mr. Stretchy guy as, maybe I want him a stretch 4, literally. No pun
Okay,
intended,
we'll put him at the
stretchy.
four- hey,
Hawks
we'll put him
taking
at the
him down.
4
Okay.
for now.
Yeah.
And then if you,
But he's going to be a perfect center, too.
That
Rebounds
was,
galore.
that was my
just,
next pick.
So-
yeah.
That was my next pick.
Okay. And then, so that gives you him at your power forward and then the Flash as your point guard. Andy, you're coming off of the Hulk as your power forward. Who are you going to go with now?
I think I got to go Iron Man.
Well, he's
Oh,
off the
that's
board.
right. Yeah.
Generals gathered in
That's how you have to
Wolverine.
pick, fellas, is when someone else
Wolverine.
tries to pick him.
got to go Wolverine.
Wolverine, what are you doing with him?
I'm going to put him at the 3.
At the 3.
Oh, he's
so you got
very
Wolverine.
undersized.
3 and
at
D,
that spot.
baby.
He's like 5'4".
I'll take it.
5'4".
Wolverine.
He's a
Pure
fighter.
aluminum.
We'll take it.
Alrighty. Well, that's kind of on brand. Michigan Wolverine fan drafts a Wolverine, so that's pretty good.
my
Adam,
guy.
you have Spider-Man as your point guard, my friend. Who are you going to go with back-to-back picks here?
So He took my Mr. Fantastic, so I'm going to go the DC alternative. I'm going Plastic Man.
Plastic Man as power forward?
Yeah,
Okay.
because he's a stretch.
Same thing, but less green.
Yeah, he wears red.
Okay. And then you got another pick here.
Yeah. Let's see here. Who do I want?
Colin Powell.
There's just so many people. Iguodala. No.
Dellavedova still on the board.
He is a superhero.
You know, I think I'm gonna have to go Batman as my 2.
Batman as the
And
2.
that's gonna be my floor general.
Okay.
I like it.
Batman.
You gotta think he's got prep time before every game.
Solid team to start out. So he's got Spider-Man. He's got Batman. It's Plastic Man, right?
It could be Plastic Bag Man.
Okay.
Let me double check.
So we're going back to Andy here. Andy, just so you have some time to think, you do have Wolverine and Hulk, but
Yeah, and it's just
Superman and
Plastic.
Iron Man are off the board. Flash and who was your power forward again? I'm sorry, I forgot to write it down.
Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic, and then Spider-Man, Batman, and Plastic Man are off of the board. So who are you going to take here?
I'm going Aquaman.
Aquaman. What are you going to use him as?
Put him at the 2.
All right, put him at the 2. So Aquaman. All righty. So your team here is looking like Aquaman, Wolverine, and the Hulk.
We have not picked a single female yet. Can we do
Obviously.
co-ed?
Well, duh, we can
I was
do
just
co-ed.
double checking.
It's
man.
We're
any
not, we're
superhero.
not a sexist show. We are here for the women
just
as
double
well.
check.
What are
I'm
you
just double
doing,
checking.
guys?
If we were allowed to pick humans, if we'd already picked Emma Garrison.
Yes. Ella Skeens was on the board. But then,
Well, I was just saying. I didn't want to just be like, oh yeah, you can't pick her because boys.
Okay,
versus,
so you guys are probably going to dog me on this next one because I can't remember his name. But for my power
Loser.
forward, I'm going to go with the Rock guy.
The
from
Thing.
The Thing.
Oh, I
Thank
thought you meant The Rock.
No, I'm not going with Black
I was thinking about doing that when he got Hulk, but I was like, nah.
And that's the whole reason I'm going with the Thing is because I need some power down low to bang with the Hulk. But who am I going to go with here? So I got to put him in my center, and he's going to be like a Wimby for me. You know, he's a big guy. He can guard 1 through 5. He could probably have some nice handles. He
I
could
think
probably have a
Wimby's
nice
not going to be
jumper.
able to guard ones.
Huh?
I don't think Wimby's going to be able to guard ones as well as people think he is.
Anyways, going off that, I am going to be drafting Mr. Incredible, and I'm going to be putting him at my center. Does that count as a superhero?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, the
All
judges ruled.
Yeah, MVD has ruled Mr. Incredible as my center. All righty.
No one's allowed to question
I
him.
mean, he is a superhero.
I was just making sure because Disney, like I don't know. Well, I guess Disney bought Marvel, so that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I am left with Superman as my point guard, Iron Man as my small forward, The Thing as my power forward, and Mr. Incredible as my center. We're going back to Tony here. Tony, you have the Flash and Mr. Fantastic. Who you going with now?
I'm going to go Deadshot for my 2. I want just an elite accuracy.
That is your guy right there.
Just a straight thing. Plus, Will Smith played him in the one movie, so
Sweet.
fresh it up.
Tony, I feel like you should have somebody else because you're the only one with 2 people. So you
Yeah,
have-
well, you skip me or something.
Oh, what did
How
you
does
say?
that? I don't know if it happened or not. I'm just yelling
Well,
at you.
pick another pick.
Who's he got so far?
Huh?
Who's he got so far?
So he has the Flash, he has Mr. Fantastic, and who'd you just say?
Deadshot.
Deadshot. You put him at your shooting guard?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go ahead and give you another pick because the host is a terrible host, and I guess he skipped you.
So I feel like there's not enough grit on the court. I'm going to need some 3-and-D, some Marcus Smart type players. I'm going the Joker. Can I do the Joker?
Small
Am I
forward?
allowed to do that?
See, I was thinking about asking, are we doing villains as well? Because it
Yeah.
is superheroes.
I
Yeah.
guess so.
So, hold on.
He's a superhero villain, I
Yeah,
guess.
no, that's fine.
Derek,
Okay.
what do you say?
Derek?
Oh! Just
That's
like
being a
Marlon.
hero. Yeah.
Just like Marlon.
That's fine. I'm going to switch that 3-and-D to the Green Lantern.
Okay.
Green Lantern, all righty, Green Lantern.
I like it utility-wise. He can use his ring to do some jazz or something. Or
Nice, nice.
maybe-
All right, Andy, You have Aquaman, Wolverine, and the Hulk. You still need a point guard and a center. What are you going with here?
I'm going with Ant-Man at the 5. He can get huge.
Okay.
Talk about guarding 1 through 5.
See?
Yeah.
I like it.
Absolutely, he can.
I like it.
That's a sneaky pick. All right, Adam. You got Spider-Man as your point guard. You got Batman as a shooting guard. You got Plastic Man as your power forward. You are going to be ending your team with this pick with your small forward and your center.
All right, so small forward, I was leaning heavy on Wonder Woman, but Thor came into my mind.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to rock with Thor.
Why do you keep getting these deep draft steals? That's terrible. Why?
I know, dude. He's one of the Avengers.
I think you're gonna be fired after this draft. Anyways, so you're doing that with your small forward?
Yeah, he's gonna be my small forward.
Okay, so you're doing with your center.
So I don't know.
I don't think he's a superhero.
Yeah.
Jason Aldean, save a hole, dogs running in.
Okay, so I'll run through the teams real quick while you start thinking of your center. Actually, the other person that's looking for a center is Tony, because he took Flash as his point guard, Deadshot, Green Lantern, Mr. Fantastic. Andy still needs his point guard, but he has
I'm using Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not necessarily a hero. He's not necessarily a villain. He's just kind of like Swamp Thing.
Derek?
Like
all right.
I said he is technically a hero, but he's not like his thing is he like saves the Earth because he's
he's the biggest hero of them all.
Yeah, but he kind of hates people.
He hates. Very relatable hero.
If he could take out every person on Earth, he would, because that would be the trees could live. So he's all about the Earth.
Okay, so Adam, you end your team with Spider-Man as your point guard, Batman as your shooting guard, Thor as your small forward, Plastic Man as your power forward, and Swamp Thing as your center. Andy, you're looking for your point guard here. You have Aquaman as your shooting guard, Wolverine as your small forward, Hulk as your power forward, and Ant-Man as your center. Who are you doing for your point guard?
I think I'm going Black Panther.
Black Panther, nice.
Steal.
That is a steal of the draft right there. All right, so Tony, you are with the Flash, Deadshot, Green Lantern, and Mr. Fantastic. You still need a center. Who are you going with here for your center?
You said superhero?
Mm-hmm.
Gerin Varis! I don't want to hear crap, because he's my hero after today, and he's pretty damn super.
He is.
Derek? So he has Gerin Varis as
newest
his
superhero as of today. Okay,
He did take down the fridge. He did take down the fridge.
He played in a bowl that was very super.
Yes, the superest of bowls.
Yeah.
Can we make sure to message him that he actually got another accolade today?
Yeah.
And he's officially a super.
I mean, first he's a Hall of Famer at Stanford, all-decade team with the Patriots, and now he's on Tony's team for superhero draft? I mean, put him in the actual Hall. Like, come on. All right, so I'll be into the draft here. So I need a shooting guard, and I thought you were going to take
Something just popped up. Deadshot is not a superhero.
Ooh.
He's a villain.
He's a villain. He's
All
in the
right.
Suicide Squad.
MVD? All right.
Oh, okay.
So
No, in that
He
one
got
movie,
Marlon.
though, he's not a villain anymore. Or whatever.
So
Suicide
Tony.
Squad. or
Suicide
whatever.
Squad, but
turned
then he's
Tony,
in prison.
you need-
Also, I'll switch it. I got one if I have to.
all right, you need a new shooting guard. Who you going with?
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Nice.
Well, I like Deadshot. He's just cooler. That Hawkeye
Yeah.
tends to be a little soft in the movies,
I don't know,
but
the
the
dude who-
accuracy is
The
there.
dude who's playing Hawkeye
got run over by a snowplow.
and came back, like, dude, he did some
That dude's a
incredible
monster.
shit. With that.
Dog. All right, so I need a
I think
shooting
he almost
guard.
had his leg amputated. and
Yeah,
stuff
dude,
like
it
that
was-
because-
that-
Ask the snowblower if it's okay.
Yeah.
Ask this everybody sees a piece to the snowblower. Who do I want as my shooting guard? Oh yeah, So I thought you were going to take this pick whenever you're like, are we allowed to be drafting women? And I was about to say no, so you didn't take it. But I am going to, I think you have to have a good 1-2 combo. You have to have good chemistry. And I think Superman and Wonder Woman are going to have the best chemistry at point guard and shooting guard.
See, I was thinking about taking her, but I just...
Hey, I'm the only one that supports women. It's okay. All right, I'll be stand with that.
I got a deep relationship. What about, if there's some chemistry
the
there,
court
maybe win some
problem.
matches?
All right,
Hey,
who's
listen.
y'all's coaches?
Oh, didn't even think about all right.
See, now,
Dude.
different draft.
My coach is the superhero of all superheroes, Bill Murray. Whenever he comes in to save us from Space Jam,
Okay.
that counts. I'm
Who
sorry.
you got, Tony?
Gerin Varis already off the board.
Hey, player coach like Bill Russell.
Yeah.
I will say, I don't want to say, I'm going Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy. I want some good music in the gym. I want some pina
Nice.
coladas. I want some hooked
Your
on a
team
feeling.
morale is going to be
It's
through
just-
the
You are.
roof.
I mean, after they go 0-10,
I'm telling you, we're not here for those things. Come on, we're the southeastern of this division. Bring it on.
Andy, who's your coach?
Jackie Moon.
Check it out.
Obviously.
I'm going Charles Xavier.
I was.
I
that's
mean,
the first one that
Professor
came to
X
mind.
was
but
my
then I
next
like,
one.
That's
Yeah,
fine,
but
that's fine,
got
yeah.
to.
You gotta pay homage to
And plus, like,
Alrighty.
are you sitting there like, get out of my mind, coach? Stop reading my thoughts.
I can't read your thoughts, guys. Coach, as you can.
Get out there and run sprints, and you're like, oh, I hate this guy. I heard what you
He's
said.
like, what'd you just say to me?
So
Or he's just going to be in the mind of the other team. Just
that's
There you
true.
go.
He knows what they
Blocking
want to do.
Belichick
Good
and just
idea.
straight getting in there.
Belichick, yeah.
Dirtbag, we know what you did to us.
Ooh, Singer finger.
Don't blame it on McNabb throwing up in the Super Bowl. We know you cheated, Bill.
Philly fan, so yeah, we know. So to end the draft, we have Adam. You have Spider-Man, and I'm going to go from point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. So you got Spider-Man, Batman, Thor, Plastic Man, Swamp Thing. Tony, you got Flash, Hawkeye, Green Lantern, Mr. Fantastic, and the one and only Gerin Varis. Sleeper
got
pick.
to.
Andy, you got Black Panther, Aquaman, Wolverine, Hulk, and Ant-Man. And I have Superman, Wonder Woman, Iron Man, The Thing, and Mr. Incredible. I think I'm finally bringing home the gold this week, guys.
I don't know.
I think I'm finally bringing home the gold. I don't care what you guys say. I think I'm bringing home the gold. But hey, wraps up another episode, guys. We made it. Thank you, viewers, for, again, taking time out of your day, coming on this mental vacation. We're actually going to do our first giveaway here. So if you retweet this clip, say something nice to somebody, and just give the show a shout out there on Twitter, we will have a randomizer sent out on Tuesday, and we'll be giving out a $25 Taco Bell gift card.
Hey.
Woo!
The bell?
25
bell!
Let's
go!
So,
That's like 16 talkers.
so retweet this clip and say something nice to somebody else. Spread some joy, spread some love. Again, like and subscribe to us on Spotify and YouTube. And
Pound that like and subscribe button. Start sending. Like and subscribe if you want to see more.
guys, thank you for joining us on this Sunday. Derek, if you want to play us out of here, see you next week.